congrats on this new record, Better Broken. I've listened to it. It's great.
Thank you.
And, it's been over a decade since your last studio record. What brought you back? What re-energized you by returning to the studio?
A few things. Having what I felt was enough material to make a record, and then meeting Tony Berg, one of the producers. He came up to Vancouver for an initial meeting, and we went into the studio, and I played him a few things. And I think what really got me interested in working with him was I played him perhaps a simpler version of Gravity. I played the whole song, and he said, "Wow, that's beautiful." And he went down, sat down at the piano. He says, "May I?" And he played pretty much the whole song back to me, but added a really cool inversion in the first verse, a chordal progression that just made it kind of elevated it and made it way more interesting. And I was like, "Oh, okay, this guy's an amazing musician." And I was really excited to work with him from then on in. And we went down to LA, just had like a week-long session, and we just had so much fun. He and Will McClellan, another Canadian, who is his engineer, we all worked together, and there was just this beautiful instant synergy. And I think before that moment, I wasn't actually thinking I'm going to make a record. It was sort of more of this idea that was forming of I could conceivably do this again. And that was just having that opportunity to work with those guys just made it all, come to a place where it's like, okay, I want to do this.
You're
Long
at a
answer,
different
sorry.
you're at a different stage of your life now. Like, what did you want to sing about, or what did you want to say on this new record?
I think that was part of my trepidation. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or say. I think I had a lot of fear going into this record, thinking about some of the things I was writing about and how they were a little more on the nose than I'm used to, more world issues, and also just the fear of putting out a new record and what that means in this culture. It means leaving home because I have to go promote it. It means being out there speaking publicly and speaking my mind about things. I had some fear about that too, and I continue to have a certain amount of fear about that. Just how open should I be in my opinions about things? Because, I have a daughter going to school in Los Angeles, and I want to continue to be able to go and visit her. And you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen next. And yeah, so I was trying to figure out how to navigate all that, what that was going to look like, um, and wondering if I had enough good material, and wondering if I had enough to say. And I think just sort of I just allowed myself to go along with the whole process and just be open to whatever might happen and not be attached to any outcome. And I think that it just sort of happened along the way where I became more and more excited about the album, and I still call it that, even though that ages me. But I wanted to create a body of work that went on a record that was like an A side and a B side, old school, and not just have, a couple singles and a bunch of filler. Like, I think there's a really beautiful emotional arc to this record and a lot of real personal stories that have gone into this to allow me to show up to where I am today. Like for me, music is super cathartic, and writing is really, my way of processing things that I'm going through, things that I'm trying to understand.
So was it easy then to get back in the rhythm of that? Because I mean, you were so prolific in parts of the '90s, early parts of the 2000s.
Well, that's very generous of you. I don't ever consider myself to be prolific by any stretch of the imagination. I write really slowly, and I am slow and methodical in that. But yeah, I think being in the studio with Tony and Will and rediscovering how much fun it was to do that, to discover, to be able to explore and figure out the path through, and to get to, from the beginning of here's the verse and the chorus and the lyrics and a very simple form to what could this become? And I think the production side of it is very exciting and interesting for me, all that exploration.
So you've been playing live over the years. It's not like you went away. I mean, you've been here. I mean, you've been in Toronto several times over the last few years. Did anything surprise you about this experience recording this new record?
I think how much I enjoyed being in the studio and enjoyed being part of the process, and how much fun it was. I forgot about that. And, working with really incredible musicians who every day someone new would come in and you never quite know what's going to happen, and just being continually surprised, joyfully surprised at the outcome. So I think that that joy of discovery was really brought back to life for me.
You're going to be touring Canada later this year, celebrating Fumbling Towards Ecstasy 30 years. It was your third record. What's it been like for you to kind of revisit that? Because that was such a breakout album for you. I remember it being everywhere and having it and buying the CD and, of course, seeing you on that tour as well. So what has it been like for you to go back and
You know
revisit
what?
it?
I did the first leg was in America, and it was really fun, and I got really large audiences, which was really fun. And I think it was just a reminder that that record, as you said, it was a seminal record for me too. It was the first record I made where I really just felt free, and it was an easy-ish record to make. It was very joyful and fun, and so getting to go and revisit all those songs as an album was something I've never done before. And the excitement and reaction from the fans was obviously thrilling for me. I went to do the Canadian tour last October, and I had essentially blown out my voice during the American tour and just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and thought I was better. And then got a really nasty virus, I think the second show, and just went down, and my voice was gone for about 2.5 months, and I had done damage, so I had to go on vocal rest for about 3 to 6 months. And so the winter was hard for me because I couldn't talk, and also I didn't know whether my voice was ever going to come back. So I had this record that all the vocals were pretty much done at that point, but I had this record that I was so proud of and so in love with, and I was going, and for me, it's all about playing the songs live, and I didn't know whether I'd be able to do that. I didn't know whether I could sing anymore. So I'm so thankful that it has in fact come back, and it's stronger in some ways, and I've just had to do workarounds to make certain things work in my range that have changed. Um, I'm not getting any younger either. So all these things come into play, and your voice does change over the years, but I think it's back to a degree to which I'm very pleased with, and I'm super excited to take this tour back across Canada.
And you seem to really enjoy it. The smiles, the rapport with the crowd, like you seem to really still love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the whole reason. Or a big part of it, because what it is it's connection. For me, that's being part of something bigger than myself. I'm on stage sharing this thing that I absolutely love with an audience that I hope loves it. And we have this amazing energy that just goes back and forth. And it's such a powerful feeling for me I've grown up a people pleaser too. So to to know that something I'm creating that gives me so much joy is also giving other people joy. It's kind of the best drug in the world, really.
What was it like, Miss McLachlan, like looking back at that time of Canadian music in the 90s and onward? What was it like for you to be part of the new wave of Canadian voices and Canadian musicians that came out during that time?
Well, I mean, I'm an incredibly proud Canadian. I love this country. I love that I was born here and that I get to experience life the way I have because of luck of geography. It's just part of my DNA. I've always lived in Canada. I'll never live anywhere else. And I just consider myself incredibly lucky after 38 years of doing this. I still have enough of a solid fan base that I get to continue to tour and do what I love more than anything else, which is to sing and play live. So I guess I just feel really lucky.
Did you see yourself as part of something new and breaking? I mean, I spoke to Rain Maida the other day, and I just felt at that time there were a lot of different Canadian artists that were coming out that were,
Mhm.
making music fans kind of proud that we had artists of our own that we could go out and support.
Yeah, well, we're a great, vast country, and it's dark and cold a lot of the year. And what else are you going to do? You're going to make art. That's how we survive. So it was never surprising to me that there were a lot of great artists coming into Canada. What was definitely pleasing was that we are getting recognition, not only within our own country, but across the borders as well, internationally. That was great and continues to be great.
So there's a Lilith Fair documentary that's in the works. I don't know when it's coming out, but obviously I'm super excited to see that. That introduced me to a lot of female artists that I don't know if I would have discovered them on my own. I went to that tour multiple times as you brought it through Toronto over those years. What was it like for you to kind of kickstart? Did you feel like you were kickstarting something there as well with that? And what's your memory of that? Because it's such a huge part of the your musical legacy.
Yeah, well, I just got to see one of the final cuts, and it's so good. I cried a few times. It made me so proud. And I think to answer your question at the beginning, I don't think any of us had any idea of the cultural ramifications of it. I think for me, it was a simple thing of I want to play a bunch of shows. I want to have some women open up for me. I was looking at the summer festivals out there. They're so male dominated, yet all these great female artists were having such success. And I was also then told that I couldn't do that. People were suggesting that, we couldn't play two women back to back on the radio. You couldn't put two women back to back on in tours. And I'd already been doing that. And so that certainly put a fire under my butt to prove people wrong. And then just the pure joy and community that was created by being part of that for us as musicians and for the audience, a non-competitive space for us as peers and artists was really, really powerful. And I mean, I look back on it now, and especially after just viewing the documentary, with so much pride and just so many fond memories of all these amazing things that happened, all these relationships that were formed, and all these, incredible performances that we got to play and sing together, and just having an opportunity to talk about the weirdness that it was our life. We're, women typically in bands or in crews with mostly men, and shuttling along in our little bubbles, doing the thing that we were doing, but having that time and space to be with each other and share that was really powerful.
I was mentioning to a neighbor I was going to be interviewing you, and they brought up Angel and the SPCA ads, and I'm a big animal lover, and I thought, geez, like I've got two cats, we've got two cats, we've got a dog. Did you ever imagine the impact that ad was going to have on people and their relationship with animals?
No, I had no idea. It was as simple as a friend of mine was on the board of the SPCA, BC SPCA here in Vancouver, and she had had an idea that perhaps I might be interested in doing a PSA for them. They'd never had a sort of a celebrity endorsement before. So I was off and I was like, well, yeah, I love animals. Absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. And it was kind of as simple as that. And then the ad just went bonkers. And I guess I think within the first year or so, it raised $30 million for the ASPCA in America anyway. And that was sort of, a shocking thing that changed the face of fundraising. And again, it was just a simple thing that it's like, well, and I've always kind of done that. If I have time and someone has asked me to lend my voice or lend a song or, come do a gig for a charity, I've always said yes if I could, because for me, it's like it's a simple way, an easy way to give back. I mean, I feel so amazingly grateful for, everything that I've been given because of music. And it just was sort of an obvious choice for me to make of like, oh, here's a good way to give back in some way and thank the universe for this ridiculous life that I've gotten to live.
And congrats on the Sarah McLachlan School of Music. I mean, what's it like for you to see that success that you're having
Oh,
there? I mean, what is that,
massive.
23 years or 20?
We
It's a
are
lot.
heading, we are going to be heading into our 24th year in September. Yeah, it's a massive, massive pride. I mean, I love this place so much. It's been many years of work and putting this together and growing it and fundraising for it. And I just love that I get to be part of it. I grew up making music kind of in isolation until I got signed and went with a band. And as a young person, a teenager, if I'd had a place like this where I could come and hang out with my friends and be vulnerable and open and make music and learn how to play any instrument I wanted and be part of something bigger than myself like that, and have that kind of community, I think it's paramount for children and youth, and particularly these days with, social media and the world being as uncertain and scary as it is, we need opportunities to connect with each other in real time and build things together. And making music is a great way to do that.
So looking back, I mean, you said 38 years. I mean, 38 years of making music, 38 years of doing anything. It's incredible. When you think about it, Mrs. McLachlan, like,
Figure I got my 10,000 hours now. Yeah.
is this how kind of you imagine? I mean, what did you imagine it could be back
I
then?
didn't. I didn't. I'm very much a live in the moment kind of person. And my whole drive back then was, I want to do something that feels good, that feels meaningful, that I'm proud of myself for. And music was there, and it just sort of, it was this beautiful availability, and this opportunity opened up to come to Vancouver and get signed, and I just kind of went with it. And it was always about what brings me joy, what makes me feel fulfilled. And I don't tend to think too much about what's happened in the past. I don't tend to look forward very much. I'm not a great planner because of that. Might be a little bit of a weakness, but I just like living in the moment as much as I can. So I don't tend to think about what is this going to become? What could I make it? It's like what is happening right now is sort of the most important thing always in my mind.
So don't come back to me begging, why'd you leave? Tell me why. How could you let